Welcome back to another installment of Celebrity Movers and Shakers, and boy do we have some sensational celebrity news to round off the month of April in style. We're going to start with none other than Daniel Craig. That's right, 007 himself. In a very James Bond-worthy move, Daniel and his wife, actress Rachel Weisz, quietly sold their Brooklyn townhouse for $11.8 million, sparking some speculation that they are going to be done with New York for good. Now, Daniel and Rachel put some significant investment into their townhouse, which they purchased in 2017 for $6.75 million, not long after it had been very badly damaged in a fire. But that effectively gave them a blank canvas to work with, and boy, did they put their personal stamp on that property. And yes, we do mean in the most luxurious sense possible. Among some of the most impressive amenities, at least for New York, are a private elevator, a rooftop deck, and a stunning backyard where they can enjoy peace and quiet courtesy of the privacy created by some very large hedges and fences. Now, being a super spy, we couldn't expect Daniel to go the normal route when it comes to a home listing. Instead, he and Rachel are said to have quietly started shopping around their property at the end of 2025, and it went under contract very quickly, with records showing that it closed at the beginning of this year. However, that's not the only Brooklyn property that the couple has sold of late. Just a few months prior, they offloaded an adjacent Brooklyn townhouse for just over $4 million, bringing their total to $15 million. So I gotta say, if they are gonna move out of the Big Apple once and for all, they're making off with a pretty hefty profit. Don't worry though, we don't think that Rachel and Daniel are done with the Empire State altogether, because they still own a stunning property in upstate New York, which Rachel bought before she and Daniel got together. However, it's understood that the two are eyeing their London abode as their primary residence, and given that they both hail from the UK, I've got to say that makes a little bit of sense. But we are going to miss them dearly here in the Big Apple. I know you'll all agree. Speaking of New York gems, we're going to whiz over to the Tony enclave of the Hamptons, where the View star Joy Behar recently relisted her longtime Sag Harbor home with a $1 million price increase. That's right, you heard me correctly, she's jacked up the price by a pretty penny. Joy originally listed the property for the sky-high price of $10.95 million in November 2024. However, she was forced to reduce that ask pretty significantly over the following months, and the asking price ultimately dropped to the much lower sum of $5.95 by December. But despite Joy's struggles to find a buyer, when the home reappeared on the market in March, it did so with a higher price tag, this time listing for $6.99 million. Now you may be wondering, did something change? Did she add an extension? Did she renovate? What on earth could be the reason for the home's additional cost? Well, the truth is, the listing agents who are dealing with the property are going about their marketing in a very different way. Instead of selling the home as is, which is arguably something that requires a lot of renovation, what they are doing is marketing the home as what it could be. They're speaking to architects, they're looking into planning permissions, and they're hoping to offer the property to a prospective buyer, yes, without a lot of renovation having been done, but with a vision for how it could be evolved in the future, and how it might be transformed into a person's dream dwelling. They're hoping that this tactic helps someone to see that while the property requires some work, it could one day be worth well above the $6.99 million that they're currently asking. You might say that they're simply asking for a prospective buyer to change their point of view. And while Joy is moving on out of the Hamptons, rumors have surfaced that a couple of very prominent A-listers are looking to quit the US altogether. Enter Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, who have been flooded with speculation of late that they are eyeing up a permanent move to the UK in a bid to help Blake escape the fallout from her legal battle with her former co-star Justin Baldoni. Now, if you've been living under a rock or simply avoiding the entertainment news cycle for the last year and a bit, we'll give you a quick recap of how this legal drama unfolded. Blake initially sued Justin back in December 2024, alleging that he had sexually harassed her on the set of their movie It Ends With Us. Now, several of her allegations against him have since been thrown out by a judge. However, the remainder are due to go to trial, which will begin on May 18th. But a lot of professionals say that Blake's reputation has been irreparably damaged as a result of a so-called smear campaign that she says Justin and his PR team coordinated against her. Now, insiders are saying that she wants to do all she can in order to escape the image that she says she's been given thanks to this whole scandal. And those insiders suggest that the only way she's going to be able to do it is to move across the pond with Ryan and their 4 children. Blake and Ryan are currently based between New York City, where they own a stunning apartment in a so-called paparazzi-proof building in Tribeca, and upstate New York, where they have a sprawling estate in the very upscale enclave of Pound Ridge. They have yet to comment on the rumors that they're seeking a new abode overseas. However, sources insist that the two of them have been having very significant discussions about it, and that the one thing that might be holding them back is what it would mean to move their children overseas, particularly when it comes to their schooling. So we'll have to wait and see whether Blake and Ryan are set to embark on a new adventure in the UK. But until then, make sure you check out Realtor.com for all the up-to-date information about the ongoing legal dispute. Now we're going to move from big screen actors to small screen stars, in the form of TikTok famous family, the LaBrants. Now, Dad and Mum, Cole and Savannah LaBrant, have sparked a fair amount of speculation of late, thanks to their rather mysterious property listing in Tennessee. For the past few years, Cole and Savannah have lived with their children in a stunning Nashville property that they bought for $4.5 million in 2022. However, in April 2024, the couple revealed that they were in the process of building a custom compound on an enormous 18-acre parcel of land that they described as their dream property. Just a few months after sharing that news, the couple put their home on the market for the first time, with an asking price of $5.4 million. But just 1 month later, that listing vanished, and many assumed that they had taken it off the market because their custom compound was not yet complete. At the start of April, a few TikTok users got wind of the fact that the couple were preparing to list the property again, when it reappeared on the market, marked as coming soon, suggesting that the listing was not yet fully active, but that the couple was preparing to part ways with it once and for all. Now, the timing of that listing sparked a lot of conspiracy theories on TikTok, because it came just a few days after Tennessee passed a new law which bars influencers from making any money off content that features children under the age of 14. So, despite Cole and Savannah making very clear that they plan to remain in the state of Tennessee, several TikTok users suggested that they were putting their house on the market because they wanted to hightail it out of the state and move somewhere that didn't have such strict restrictions around content creation and children. A lot of TikTok users did rush to defend the couple, pointing out that they had not only made clear their plans to stay in Tennessee, and indeed the Nashville area, but that it was very likely the on-again, off-again listing was the result of delays in the building of their new custom compound. So we'll have to keep our fingers crossed and see whether that house appears on the market yet again. Rounding things out for us this month is none other than All About That Bass singer Meghan Trainor, who's had something of a bittersweet April. On the upside, she finally managed to find a buyer for her Encino property, but she only did so because she accepted an offer that was well below her original asking price. And in other sad news, she also managed to sell the property just 1 day before she cancelled her upcoming tour, explaining to fans that she needs to spend her time focusing on her family and not on traveling around the country on a multi-stop tour. Luckily for Meghan, she'll have one less thing on her mind now that she's finally offloaded her Encino home, which she originally put on the market in the summer of 2024 with a sky-high asking price of nearly $12 million. However, that ask was significantly reduced over the following months, eventually dropping to $6.99 million. And even then, Meghan wasn't able to get that full ask. instead accepting an offer of just over $6.8 million. She still managed to make a slight profit on the sale, having purchased the property in 2020 for $6.5 million. So she earned just over $300K, which isn't too bad for a day's work. Okay, there you have it. Those are our top celebrity movers and shakers for the month of April. And don't worry, we'll be back next month with all of the biggest celebrity news that you need to know. But until then, make sure you head over to Realtor.com to get all of the real estate scoop and perhaps a little bit more.